So now let's go to number 9. Okay, so a carpenter has a board 24.2 inches long. He cuts off 2 pieces that is 3.95 inches long, and the other 4.08 inches long. He thought that he had about 12 inches of board left. Which of the following is the most reasonable? Okay, so let's think about what he's doing right here. This is the first thing that you have to think about. A carpenter has a board that's this many inches long. That's the total board. He's going to cut off 2 pieces. Okay, one. So I'm going to cut off a piece right here. Let's imagine that this green shape that I just drew is the board. So if I cut off a piece, that's going to be 3.95. So I'm taking that away, right? That's called subtraction. And then the other one is 4.08 inches long. So cut another piece, and that's 4.08. Okay, so I'm taking that away. I know that's an ugly 8, but okay. He thought that he had 12 inches of board left. He thought that he had about 12 inches of board left. Which of the following is the most reasonable? His estimation is reasonable because 24 minus 6 minus 6 is 12. Or his estimation is reasonable because 20 minus 4 minus 4 equals 12. So think about which one is the right one. Okay, we have 20. This is about 24 right here. This is about 4, and that's about 4. And we're taking away 4 each time. So do you think he's correct or he's incorrect? Think about it. Okay, number 10. Callie found the product of 4.23 and 0.546 to have the digits of that many, but didn't know where to place the decimal. How should Callie place the decimal point to write the correct product? This should be a real simple problem. All we're having to do is count how many decimal places we have behind our numbers. Okay, and let me bring down my highlighter just a bit. Okay, so we have 2 numbers that are behind the decimals in this factor, and we have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind this factor. So we have 2 plus 3, that gives us a total of 6. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Wait, Mr. Burgaño, you did that wrong. This 2 plus 3 is 5, not 6. So we only need 5 decimal places in our problem. So that means that my decimal needs to be right here after. Okay, that's what my decimal is. So now we know what the right answer is, because the product will have 2 plus 3 equals 5 decimal places. Okay, number 11, a square has a side length of 7.8 centimeters. What is the area of the square? Remember, area, it's really easy to find. All you have to do is multiply length times width, or in this case, because it's a square, side times side. And you only need to know the length of one side because all the sides are the same in a square. So there's my square, and the side is 7.8 centimeters. And every side is 7.8 centimeters. So to find the area, all you gotta do is do side times side. So all you really have to do is multiply 7.8 times 7.8. So hopefully you got that one right. We'll go over the answer in class. 12. Martina correctly wrote 0.6 times 4.8 to solve a problem. What was the problem she had to solve? Well, find this. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. Find 6/10 of 4 and 8/10, or find the sum of 6/10 and 4 and 8/10, or find the quotient, or find the difference. Notice that the only difference here between the answer choices is the vocabulary words. Here it says find 6/10 of, that means multiply. Find the sum, that means add. Find the quotient, that means divide. Here is find the difference. So if she correctly wrote this, and we're talking about multiplication, then the only answer choice that matches is F. Okay, between 6/10, that's 6/10, and this is 4 and 8/10. Number 13. Benson drove 352.8 miles. When they stopped to fill the gas tank, they bought 16.37 gallons of gas. How could the Bensons figure out their gas mileage? Well, think about it. They drove that many miles, right? And when they stopped to fill up the tank gas, they bought 16.37 gallons of gas. And gas mileage is given to us as miles per 1 gallon. How many miles can you go in 1 gallon of gas? So what you need to do is you're going to have to divide the number of miles by the number of gallons. Okay, so that would be answer choice D. And they didn't ask us to solve it, they just asked us which one would be better. How could they figure it out? So they can figure it out by dividing. 14. Martha worked 2.5 hours on Thursday and 8 hours on Saturday. She earned a total of $111.30. How much did she earn per hour? Again, you have to figure out how many hours she worked. She worked 2.5 hours on Thursday and 8 hours on Saturday. This is like that problem we worked today in class. So make sure that you look at the problem that we worked today in class. I believe it's in the back of your page for that dividing decimals worksheet that we did in class today. Lesson 9, I believe. Okay, so here we go. Number 15. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Okay, what is that divided by that? Okay, but hopefully now you remember how to do this, because remember this number right here is your dividend. That's the one that goes inside your division. So go ahead and divide it out. And the outside number, that's this number right here. The most important part, the one that I'm going to help you with right now, is not going to be the division itself, but remember to move the decimal over 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right to make it a whole number. And if you do it on the outside, you got to do it on the inside. So 1, 2, 3 spaces. So make sure you fill in a couple of zeros. Your decimal is now sitting right here, and from this point you're going to move straight up into your quotient. Okay, so now when you finish this, you can erase all of the zeros because they don't exist anymore. You don't have a decimal anymore. You don't even have the zero anymore. You really only have 200 on the inside and 5 on the outside. So make sure you understand which answer choice you're going to get, number 15. Okay, number 16 is about fractions now. Natalie jogs 2 3/4 miles 3 times each week and 3.5 miles 3 times each week. How many miles does Natalie run each week? Okay, so we're talking about multiplying this amount right here times 3, and then multiplying this amount right here times 3, and then you're going to add them together, and that's going to give you your answer. Remember, when you multiply a mixed number, you have to do the popcorn, and popcorn means you have to change it to an improper fraction. So multiply 4 times 2, and then you're going to add 3, and then you're going to use that same denominator. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 3 is 11. So this as an improper fraction would be 11 over 8. Okay, do the same thing to this one. You got to do popcorn also to that one. Then you can multiply each one of those improper fractions by 3, and then add it together, and you get your answer. So that's number 16. 17. Mr. Jefferson made 22.5 pints of lemonade for a party. If each plastic glass holds between 1/2 and 3/4 pints of lemonade, how many plastic cups can be filled reasonably? Oh, this is a tough one, but we can do it. That's not a big deal. Alright, so let's see. Mr. Jefferson made that many pints of lemonade for a party. He has plastic glasses, right, that they hold between that many and that many pints of lemonade. How many plastic cups can be filled reasonably? So if he has all the plastic cups that fill up by that many amount, then we have to divide it. That many pints, 22.5, has to be divided by 1/2. Okay, so you're going to have to do 2 different divisions here, using the smallest type of glass and the biggest type of glass. So when you divide 22.5 by the other one, by 3.5, you'll get both answers, and you can look at your answer choices and see which 2 answers are the ones that matches. Okay, remember on this one you have to do popcorn before you can divide. Again, this one you have to do popcorn as well. And don't forget to multiply by the reciprocal of each one of these fractions, because that's how you divide. If you need more help with dividing, go watch the other video of mine about dividing fractions. Number 18, each week Dana draws between 2 3/4 and 3 1/2 hours. Okay, which of the following could be the total amount of the time that Dana spent drawing in 8 weeks? Okay, so be careful here because it says each week. Okay, so each week means you have to multiply. Whoops, I need to use my highlighter, not my pen. So each week she is drawing between this many hours and this many hours. So kind of like the same thing on number 17 that we just did, but instead of 2 divisions, now you have to multiply by 8 because you have 8 weeks. So if all 8 weeks you multiply by 2 and 3, 4 hours, if each one of those weeks she only drew 2 and 3/4 hours, how many hours did she spend? But if all those 8 weeks she also instead of 2 and 3/4 she drew 3 and 1/2 hours, multiply those two and see what you get. And then look at the answer that you get here, look at the answer that you get here, and this answer should be, one of those answers should be between your two numbers that you get. Okay, remember to do the popcorn before you can multiply. And remember those whole numbers, they can be made improper fractions by just putting them under 1, over 1. Okay, and then finally here we have Aaron bought 5.5 yards of fabric. He bought 2 3/8 yards of blue fabric and 1 1/2 yards of red fabric. And the rest was yellow. How much yellow fabric did he buy? Well, we know the total amount of fabric he bought. He bought exactly 5 1/4 yards of fabric. Okay, and we know that 2 3/8 were blue. So I'm going to color this in blue. Okay, and then 1 1/2 yards was red. I'm going to color that in red. And we want to know that the rest of it was yellow. Okay, so they want to know, they're asking for the yellow fabric. How much did he buy? Well, if we're going to find out we have to find all of the yards first, and we don't have to find anything out because we already have it. They tell us that it's this many yards. So we're going to have to subtract that many yards minus the blue, then subtract the red, and whatever's left is the yellow. So you have to do 2 subtractions. And finally, number 20. Which has the greatest result? You have to multiply, you have to divide, you have to subtract, and you have to add. Once you do all 4, figure out which one is the biggest answer, and that's your answer. Tomorrow I'll give you all the answers before the test so that you can check your work. Hopefully it won't be that many that you didn't do wrong. And that's the bell. So we'll see you tomorrow.